Hello and welcome to Hunter Fuel, a supernatural rewatch podcast for adults who enjoy their show with a chaser. I'm Liz.
And I'm Lynn.
Thank you so much for joining us for season 3, episode 7, Fresh Blood. We model responsible drunkenness here. No one is pregnant. Everyone is way over 21. No one will be handling weapons, operating heavy machinery, or roofing young girls at bars. If you're going to play along with us, those are the rules. If you decide not to follow them and you do something stupid, don't blame us. Lynn, I heard a rumor that you think you have the perfect cocktail for this evening, and I would love to hear what it is.
Because I do not have your brilliance when it comes to cocktail making. I just don't. So I don't even try. But I was like, all right, I gotta have a glass. I gotta have something red tonight. And I was like, all right, and I'm going wine. And then I realized, looking through my wine collection,
Mhm.
I have, because I know I've talked about the fact that I like the Star Trek spirits line. We've talked about that.
Right?
I have Klingon blood wine.
Ah,
So yes, Kling. So this is the Klingon bloodline.
ah,
So yeah, saw that and I was
all
like,
right.
perfect.
Excellent choice. Excellent choice. So, with that in mind, what is your guess for the theme of this week's featured cocktail?
If it doesn't have something to do with vampire blood or something, I'm going to be heavily disappointed.
Well, I have good news for you. You can table your disappointment because the cocktail for this episode is called Dracula's Blood, and it is 2 ounces of white rum, 3/4 of an ounce of peach schnapps, 3 ounces of black cherry juice, 2 teaspoons of grenadine. Shake all that up with some ice, strain, and serve. Producer Mark, could you bring up our Stupornatural game cards for us, please? Ah,
I don't have a good feeling.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah, no, no, yeah.
No, no, yeah.
No, there's even one I am a little grouchy about that, and we'll talk about it when we get there, that we should get, but somebody very rudely interrupts. All right, well, if you're playing along with us, hopefully you have better cards than we do. But as always, the first one is on the house. So give yourself that center square, raise your
Cheers.
glass. Cheers.
Fortunately, that tastes much better than actual dead man's blood. Or what I imagine it to taste like. Allow me to rephrase that statement.
I have to presume here. Um, so this one's a little sweet, but it's not bad. I kind of
Mm,
like it. Um,
excellent.
excuse me. Before we get started this evening, we have had a comment from one of our viewers going back to the season openers, the Magnificent Seven. And if you remember in that episode, we had a conversation about at the end of the final battle, we did a body count and we tallied up that there were only 6 demons, that Wrath was missing.
Yes.
So we missed a body. If you remember earlier in the episode, Gluttony made Isaac, Tamar's husband Isaac, drink drain cleaner.
Yes.
And then they're all at the house waiting for the demon horde, and up saunters Isaac's body that has been possessed. And
And
Tamara kills him
kills
with
him.
Palo Santo. So, one of our viewers, Melissa Simpson, speculated, and I have no reason to think she's wrong, that that was Wrath, and so Tamara kills Wrath before the battle starts. Um,
That is brilliant. Yes.
I Yeah, well done,
Yeah.
well done, Melissa. We had forgotten about Isaac. I mean, I knew he was possessed by a demon, but it didn't occur to me we only see 7 demons in the episode, and that's one of them. So well spotted. So, if you are like Melissa and you notice something that you think Lynn and I might have missed, drop us a message in the comments, and
Yeah.
we will be happy to consider your perspective. All
And
right,
and
so
and acknowledge our error if we are in fact
we
wrong.
made one. If
Yeah.
if we made one, well, I mean, look, this is one of the great things about the fandom that the Supernatural family is filled with intelligent and observant people, uh,
Yes.
and I am always happy to hear from another member of the family with an opinion that's a little different than ours.
Yeah.
All right. With that, let's get this show on the road.
Huh.
So our then is unsurprisingly focusing kind of heavily on Bella and her being a great thief who procures unique items for a select clientele. We also see Gordon Walker and what the amount of trouble he has caused for the boys, his attempts to kill them both,
Mhm.
particularly Sam, um, because he believes that Sam will lead a demon army in a coming war. Gordon also has a deal with his partner Kubrick to get him out of jail. Now, I'm going to pause this. I know that we've just started, but this trestle bridge will likely look very familiar. This is a
Yeah.
frequent filming location for them. And I think most identifiably, we saw it in Hookman back in
Yeah.
season one. So, all right, hitting play. Here comes the lovely Lauren Cohan as Bella, and this is a great shot with Gordon approaching. We see the reflection in the window.
Mhm.
Um, and something I think is kind of interesting about this is she's not afraid until she learns his name. And you just see this flash of fear across her face. And she's like, "Oh, I heard of you." Um,
But
he
she
got
covers remarkably fast.
She does, she does. But I do think it's something kind of interesting about her character that and we're gonna see more of it as this scene plays out, but he essentially threatens to kill her if she doesn't tell him where to find Sam and Dean Winchester, and she just stands there with a gun in her face. It's like,
Yeah,
"Kill
and
me if you
does
need to,
not.
but then you get nothing."
Yeah, and I love the look on his face when she says that because he suddenly
Yeah,
realizes that shit, she's right, and fuck, I can't kill her because then I get nowhere.
I get nothing. I get nothing. And he does sort of appeal to her, quote unquote, better nature. And he's like, the world hangs in the balance. And she's like, I could give two shits. I don't respond to threats. Like, you want something from me? Make me an offer. Um,
And I love this. I don't get out of bed for 3 grand or 2 grand. I can't remember what he offers
yeah,
her.
it's three. Yeah, 3 grand. Yeah, which is, I mean, we've seen the hunters do not live extravagant lifestyles in the supernatural universe.
No.
And when she tells him, she said, "I don't get out of bed for 3 grand," like, Sterling K. Brown's performance is so good. Like, you can see he just wants to throttle her. Like, he hates her so much. Um, but she sees he's got a hoodoo bag that
Mhm.
is absolutely priceless, and she will exchange it for the Winchester's whereabouts. So you can see he very reluctantly parts with it. And she gets on the phone, and the person I'm mad at really in this scene is Dean. Like, why on earth, after everything that she has done to them, would he tell Bella Talbot where they are? Like, come on, Dean, be smarter.
I say I get that there is a woman involved, but come on, dude, think with the other head.
It's
And I
Bella.
and I'm sorry if that sounds insulting, but let's be honest. The man likes to get laid.
He
A lot.
does. Well, who doesn't like to get laid? Let's be honest, but yeah, he's definitely not making the smart choice here. We drop in on the boys. We catch them mid hunt. And there are some really great like close up scene shots here that tell us right away we're looking at a Kim Manners episode. So they have been trailing a vampire. They come across a gentleman who has been bitten, but he's still alive. Sam stays with the victim. Dean goes after the vampire, and Dean pulls out this machete. And if you look closely, there's a mistake here
Yes.
where he starts to bleed right before the blade cuts him. But he says, "Smell good, don't I? I taste even better." And that line has thrown a lot of the fandom into an absolute tizzy. Um, but the vampire who comes around the corner, this is Mercedes McNabb, which if you are a friend of, let me try that one again. If you are a fan, I've had one shot, holy crap. You were a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you will recognize this actor. She played a vampire named Harmony in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and its spinoff, Angel. But she literally sinks her teeth into Dean, and Dean manages to load her up with dead man's blood, and she passes out. Um, and of course he plays it tough, like, "Hey, it worked. It's fine." Um, and he seems a little more concerned about where he cut himself with the machete, than he is about the bite. Okay, cut to Lucy is now tied to a chair. We're going to find out in a moment her name is Lucy. And part of the reason why I chose Dracula's blood for the cocktail is that Lucy is a character in Bram Stoker's Dracula. So, if you know anything about that story, her character is kind of attacked by a vampire, sort of against her will, and that's what we're about to find out is what happened to Mercedes McNabb's character. So there's some parallels there. What little we know about Lucy's story here in Supernatural. But what I think is kind of
I do
interesting.
wish they had cleaned up her chin.
I understand why they didn't though. I mean, is it a little gross? Sure, but and this is something that we're going to see a parallel to later in the episode. So it is actually kind of interesting that they've left it this way. Um, but what we find out is that Lucy took a drug, she thinks, and some guy at a bar gave it to her, and she thinks that she just can't come down, that she's been
Oh
high all this
god.
time and can't come down. And for the first time
Oh,
in quite a few episodes, we actually get a return of Sam's puppy dog eyes.
thank
That I'm sorry?
thank God.
Um, Yeah, don't get attached to them, they're not here for long, but, as he listens to her story, we can hear that, he genuinely starts to feel bad for her, right up until she says that this guy Dixon or Deacon or something was super old, he was, like, 30 or something. Um, but, eh, what, um what she's telling them is that he put this guy, Dixon, put a few drops in her drink at Spider, and Dean is like, "Let me guess. It was red and thick." Yeah, genius move there. And so they realize that there's this guy at Spider dosing young, at least one young blonde woman. And she's like, no, I was roofied. Like, this is nonsense, right? Vampires aren't real. It could be vampire blood. Um, but as they continue to talk to her, she says that this guy took her. He had her somewhere locked up, but she got so hungry she broke out, and so they've been trailing her for several days. And she describes these the heightened senses that she has. How far away she can hear someone's heart beating, and how bright the light is, and smells are strong, and what have you. So I think honestly Mercedes McNabb delivers a really beautiful performance here, and this is she didn't ask for this. This
Nope.
is something that was done to her without her consent. um and she's unintentionally killed 2
Kill.
people and seriously wounded a third. And this is not in her nature. You can tell, like, I wouldn't do that. She's
Yeah.
not naturally a violent person. So she's asking the 2 of them to help her, and
Ugh.
Sam and Dean kind of step away a moment here.
I
Leave
love how we get some of that, like, and I feel like we haven't really seen it in a while, those discreet glances that you don't get with Stone Cold Sam.
Yeah.
But, like, when the boys are having an entire different conversation just with tiny little, like, eye twitches and facial expressions and all of that, and you
Mhm.
know exactly what's going through what that entire conversation entails, and not a word has been spoken.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's been a little while since we've had the brothers kind of on the same wavelength. I've paused it here because I wanna make some connections. So what we just saw was Sam and Dean step into another room. They've got a lady, tied to a chair in the next room. She's been turned into a monster against her will. She's hurt people. She's asking them to help her, and the camera stays on Sam as Dean goes into the next room. To we don't see it, but we get the sound effect. We know that
Yeah.
he beheads Lucy. So this episode was written by Sarah Gamble and directed by Kim Manners. There's another episode by that team with this storyline in it. And again, the camera stays on one of the brothers, and we see him react to the other one killing the girl, and that's Heart with
Oh.
Madison. So I think it's interesting that this same duo gives us a very similar scene, and that Kim Manners elected to film it in the same way. And this isn't a hack recycled move from a
Oh, no.
second-rate
No.
director.
No.
This is I have to believe this is a deliberate choice from Kim Manners to make this connection between these 2 episodes.
There
So,
one thing I have figured out, learned, observed, whatever phrase you want to use, very, very few times is there something accidentally done. on this show.
Agreed.
Almost every single thing is extremely deliberate.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
No, I
yeah.
completely agree.
And
Oh,
I love seeing the emotion on
yeah.
Sam's face. Again,
Mhm.
not going to get used to it, but I love seeing it while I've got it.
We get this little glimpse here that okay, our Sam is still in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So we're hitting play and here's that flinch from Sam.
Oh,
Go to the hospital. Here is the gentleman that Lucy attacked and Sam and Dean rescued. And here come two gentlemen in suits with
oh,
fake IDs. So we will look for that momentarily. So this is Gordon and Kubrick, and they are claiming to be from the FBI, asking this gentleman to describe his attacker. And he says, she had super PCP strength. She gnawed on my neck. And they start asking, like, did she bleed on you? Did you get any of her blood in your mouth or in an open wound? Anything? He's like, "Oh, she bit me." And we're like, "No, no, you don't have to worry about that. But, if you had gotten any blood on you, you'd be infected." And then Gordon says, "And we'd have to kill you." And he's like, "Oh, ah, ah, ah." And Gordon's just like, "No, no, I'd kill
yeah,
you dead if I had to."
yeah.
Um,
And I love it. Like he's got this stone cold look on his face. Like
yeah,
you don't get it. I'm dead serious, and you can tell like he's waiting for the guy to soften, and it's Gordon.
nope.
He ain't softening.
It's correct. There is not a soft bone in Gordon's body. You are absolutely right. Uh, Next scene, we have the boys coming out of the spider bar and
Ugh,
no luck finding anything that looks suspicious. But they come out on the street, and Sam is like, this is definitely this guy's hunting grounds. Three young blonde women have disappeared from here. Into the alley. And this is Dixon, and he's got an eyedropper full of something, and he's just about to drop it into this young lady's mouth, and it falls like right on her face, just to the side of her mouth. Dean gets thrown into a wall. They chase after Dixon and run smack dab into Kubrick and Gordon.
Gordon. It's like,
Uh,
oh,
who,
son of a
so
bitch.
okay, we're going to pause on this black screen here. We've got a fake ID and someone gets thrown against the wall. So let's see if
Yeah.
either one of us have either of those.
I say I have
I
the fake IDs.
I do also.
So
Uh, I do not
let me
have someone gets thrown
show.
against a wall, sadly enough.
I
So
do.
just, oh, good for you. Good for
Yay.
you. So I am on the board with one and you have both. So good for you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hmm, that one is
Mm.
growing on me. Can't see any better, but it's growing on me. All right, one comment I'm gonna make before we hit play, and something that kind of bothers me here is I wish Sam had just checked with her. Did you get any in your mouth?
Yeah.
Because they've already established that, it only takes a drop. And we can see that it fell like on her face, but was that all of the blood that was in the dropper? Felt like, and Sam doesn't even ask. And they just send her home. Uh,
Yeah,
that,
there's a couple of I and maybe my memory is incorrect. It is possible. But I could have sworn now I could be I'm probably having to go back to season 1 on this one, but I feel like they're not always I feel like wasn't it used to be a thing where if you got bit, you also got infected at one point?
Not in Supernatural, no, because
Okay.
there are so, like, Twilight is a notable example where, in the Twilight universe, vampires are venomous. So that's how you get infected is you get
Okay,
their,
maybe
and
that's where I'm getting it from, because 'cause I'm
yeah,
like, "Wait a minute," because it annoyed me that even Dean got bit and no one's saying to him, "Wait a
everybody's right.
minute, where's, like, you got attacked, like, where's the concern for there?"
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because so if you remember the first episode of Supernatural, we met vampires in, there was the scene with the young lady, her name is escaping me at the moment, but she was, tied up in the barn, and the
Yes,
female
yes.
vampire, like, takes the blood in her mouth and then kisses her.
Oh,
Um, and that's how she gets infected. So that's from the beginning in Supernatural. That's how they decided that it works. So traditional, well, vampire lore is globally is there's a lot of different things that can turn you into a vampire or something like it in the world. But the what we're most used to here is the idea that you have to ingest their blood and then you have to die. Like you have to be dead or close to dead, to be, or I should say close to dead, to be kind of kept alive and reanimated by a vampire's blood. But apparently in Supernatural, you just need a little dropper full in your drink. Welcome to the best Halloween costume ever. Okay. Moving on. So we left off with Gordon and his gun. So he and Kubrick are shooting at Sam and Dean, and they don't manage to hit either of them. Um, so the two of them are Sam and Dean are have kind of taken cover. Dean runs to distract them and hops over a wall in like a parking garage. Kubrick goes after him. There is a little mistake here where you hear a shell casing hit the ground, but Kubrick is firing a revolver and the casings stay in the gun. Gordon goes after Sam, but what he finds instead is Dixon. Um, so vampire to the rescue. So we have someone unconscious now because he has knocked out Gordon. We also have a quirky motel room, which we realize now this was where Lucy was earlier, but we couldn't tell then. Um, Again, there's kind of great shot here of Dean coming into the room that we see in the mirror over Sam's shoulder, and Dean is like, "Yeah, man, sorry, got hungry, stopped for a slice." Like Sam is like, "I've been worried sick about you, and what, you stopped for pizza?" Um, they realize Bella was the one who sold them out. Dean calls Bella, and he's like, "Oh, you didn't call me to thank you for saving your ass." Right? So, like, once again, we see Bella, like, they literally saved her life in the prior episode, and she still sells them out. He's, I think, unjustifiably angry. I mean, he should be angry about it, don't get me wrong, but he should not have been surprised,
No,
with
no.
everything they know about Bella. Um, but, he Bella starts to realize that Dean is not joking when he says the first thing he's gonna do is hunt her down and kill her. She's like, You're not serious." He's like, "Listen to my voice. You Tell me
Yeah,
if I sound serious."
and then look
She
at the big deep breath she just took of,
Yep.
"Oh, fuck, I may have pushed them too hard."
too far, and she
Yeah,
looks
too.
almost as afraid of Dean as she did of Gordon.
Yeah.
So we leave Bella in the car, pondering how badly she
Um,
miscalculated in fucking over the Winchesters. And cut to now we have Gordon. He's tied
right.
down, and we've got Dixon and his these two young blonde ladies that Sam had mentioned had gone missing. He's learned his lesson with Lucy, and he has them confined. They're chained up, which is, that's how family works, right?
Yeah,
Um,
of course.
and again, we've got the women with the blood on their chins. So
Mhm.
not tidy eaters, our vampires.
No,
And
no.
I think I'm sorry, go ahead.
I keep trying to debate in my head as to whether one would call this torture because you can't tell me that they are willingly being held up there that way. And I don't know. There's just something. I mean, aside from the fact that he did not do that to them of their own free will, but there's just something very torturous about that whole scene. I mean, I know
Mm,
I'm fully aware that if you let them down, they would slaughter half of mankind because that's in this show. That's what they.
That's what they do. And
Yeah.
so Dixon is trying to recreate his family, that his nest was murdered by hunters. From his point of view, they were murdered um, by hunters like Gordon, and so he wants his family back. So he describes these two young women to Gordon as his daughters. So is it freaky, weird, and fucked up? Yes. For me personally, to call something torture, I want to see a purpose behind it, like, torturing them for information, torturing them because they're sick and twisted and like watching somebody suffer. And in this case, they're not human. They're, you know what? I'm going to pause this here
Yeah.
because there's another comment I want to make.
You know,
Um,
I can't disagree with that.
yeah,
I really can't. It's just seeing anybody tied up like that just ugh.
agreed. Agreed. This is not normal. Not for humans anyway. It's not normal.
No.
Um, okay. So you know what? While we have it paused, so we did have a quirky motel room and an unconscious person. So let's go ahead and check for those. I have quirky motel room.
Okay. I have an unconscious person.
Okay, great. No, that is it. I just have the one.
Yeah, I don't see a quirky motel room.
Okay,
But
one each.
okay, still translates
Cheers.
into cocktail time.
Mm,
Yum yum.
that is seriously growing on me. Um,
So yeah,
okay.
so another thing that since it literally did just happen with him turning Gordon is now basically living his worst nightmare.
Yes. Yeah. So initially, Dixon's plan is to feed Gordon to Dixon's new daughters. But he's got a better idea now. He wants revenge on a hunter. Um, so yeah, he turns Gordon. Um, and especially keeping in mind what happened to Gordon's sister. This is you're absolutely right. This is the worst possible thing that he could do to Gordon.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, I mean, you see the look on his face, and for
yeah.
about a millisecond there, you do actually feel bad for the guy.
You know, really fantastic performance all the way around
Oh yeah.
from Sterling K. Brown. That yeah is for all that okay, the guy is crazed. Like he's absolutely crazed. He's not willing to listen to reason. His black and white thinking is just downright dangerous. Um, he doesn't deserve this to happen to him.
Nope.
Um, so, the other thing that happened here was we had this close up of Dean supposedly sharpening his machete, which is interesting because it apparently was sharp enough to cut him before it even touched him before. But he sharpens it like with the blade almost completely perpendicular to the stone, which is
How to kill the
about the
blade in one
fastest.
easy step.
Yeah, how to ruin your machete in one step, absolutely. Um, so yeah, that was, apparently somebody needed to pull Jensen aside and teach him how to actually sharpen a weapon. Okay, so we're in the quirky motel room with Sam and Dean, and they have this agreement that when they find Gordon, they don't have a lot of choice here, and Sam is like, "Oh, yeah, we gotta kill him." And you could see Dean like, who are you and what have you
Really?
done with my brother?" I'm like, "What happened?" And, "No, we can't, it's wrong." And and Sam was like, "Yeah, no, we" and I mean, Sam tried doing this the right way, getting him sent back to prison, but
Yep.
that didn't work, and he's like, "Okay, we don't have any other choices here." They get a call from Bella, and Bella just feels awful that she ratted them out to their mortal enemy and that she's talked to the spirits using her talking board and they their message is leave town, run like hell, don't come back, don't go after Gordon. But she can give them Gordon's exact location.
Oh,
Now
so
we
now
have I'm sorry?
no, I was gonna say now we have Gordon tied up in the same way, but
Yeah. And I think this is fantastic. There's this really loud, like pounding, kind of industrial sort of noise that's just like echoing, and the lights are too bright. And, um, you finally, we see the source is just a little pocket watch on a table, ticking away. But to Gordon, it's just this like incessant pounding noise. And apparently he's super strong and he manages to just like pull the screws out of the ceiling and he escapes. And these
well, I
two
mean, they talk about like what was it? The super LSD
the
super
PCP
strength,
strength.
the PCP strength. That's what it was.
Yep.
And,
Uh
oh,
yeah, so we know that vampires are extra strong in the supernatural universe. The
oh,
girls say to him, "Help us." We don't see what he does, but he comes out onto the street, um, and there's
we
something
just
I think
really
is
start to get a viewpoint as to like I hate to say what vampires experience,
yeah,
but
no, that's what we're seeing. You're right. From his perspective, and he starts to hear somebody's heart beating, and he sees a gentleman changing a flat tire. Got this great scene where he turns, there's a window here, he kind of braces his hands against the window, and there's this beautiful red light reflected
oh,
up into his face. He can see his reflection in the glass, and he just opens his mouth, and the teeth that second set of hunting teeth that descend down. I think it's a
Mhm.
great effect. Um, our, erstwhile
Mhm.
motorist here, he gets into the car after changing the, tire, and you just see Gordon in the back. We've got a gratuitous blood spatter, and man, it just goes and goes. We're gonna pause here. Um,
Oh,
okay, so gratuitous blood
blood splatter.
spatter.
So you also get an idea as to just how fast vampires can move.
Yeah. Yeah, because that guy never saw him coming.
Nope.
And he ended up in the car.
Yeah, which was quite amazing.
I
Uh,
do
I
not
don't
have a
have.
gratuitous blood spatter,
Nope,
which makes me
me.
sad because that was a
That was a
good
good.
one.
Yeah. Well, one could arguably say that we could just have a drink because it was a really good one, even though neither of us have it.
You know what? Cheers, Supernatural. Done on your blood
Cheers.
spatter. Congratulations. I like how you think.
Great minds think alike.
Ah, indeed, indeed. Okay, we're hitting play.
Mhm.
Dean and Sam have followed Bella's
Oh,
directions, and they come in, and Dixon is on his knees in front of these two young ladies, and their heads are missing. So here's where we find out what Gordon did on his way out.
yeah.
And the whole
Oh,
time, this whole episode, Gordon has been saying that vampires are mindless beasts, that they're hunting machines. They have no feelings, and yet we see Dixon here, like he's visibly distraught over the loss of these two women. He's got tears on his face. He's got a lot of tears on his face,
yeah.
in all seriousness. Um, that this he thought of these two young women as his family, and this is the second family he's lost.
Yeah.
Um, and he's like, I knew it was stupid, but I was desperate. He was lonely. Um, and he starts going into this monologue about, I've lost everyone I've ever loved. I'm all, can you think of a worse hell?
Oh,
And
I
it's
love
like,
it.
well, there's hell.
Hell.
um, but the more Dixon talks, I think, about, he's lost so much, he doesn't care anymore. Not giving a damn about anything at all is like being dead already. And you can see in Dean's face,
Yeah.
this is really resonating with him.
Mhm.
Um, and as there this great shot like through the neck wound where all of a sudden Sam is like, these girls weren't to like they didn't have their heads cut off. Their heads were torn off by hand. Like, what's strong enough to do that? And they realized Dixon turned Gordon. And
Oh, yeah.
again, you could see in their faces, they're like, oh, we are
Oh,
fucked. Like this
yeah.
is
This is bad.
shit. Balls. This is not good.
Yeah.
Hop over to Kubrick's trailer, and once again, as you pointed out with the car, Gordon
W-
is super fast, and
Yeah.
he gets into this trailer as, Kubrick is looking out the door, and Kubrick can tell there's something really wrong with Gordon, and Gordon finally says, um, "Yeah, I got turned. I'm a monster." Um, and Kubrick is visibly upset about this.
Yeah.
This is, you get the impression that the two of them are more than passing colleagues.
Yeah.
And they're like, "You know what this means,
Mm.
right?" And Gordon says, "Yes, you have to kill me, but this is a gift because I now have the strength to do what needs to be done.
Done.
I can kill Sam Winchester. And this can be the one good thing that comes out of this." He's like, "I'm
Yeah.
stronger, I'm faster, I can finish him." Kubrick is like, "No,
No,
no, I can't let
can't.
you out," you know?
No.
Um, and again, like, if you look closely here at Kubrick or I'm sorry,
Mm.
at Gordon, um, it like, he doesn't he doesn't admit to Kubrick that he's already killed someone. So, Kubrick is hoping he can dispatch Gordon before he hurts someone else, but Kubrick doesn't know it's already too late. And again,
Yeah.
if you look closely, you can kind of see again the blood on Gordon's chin. Um, so as Kubrick is coming in to kill Gordon, Gordon just shoves his hand through Kubrick's chest and he just holds his hand up and he's just got blood everywhere. So, somewhere just out of frame is a poor person from the props department holding up a little bucket of blood that
Yeah.
he can dip his hand into out of frame. But he seems to be genuinely upset that Kubrick is gone, but he's it's not gonna stop him, right? He's
Yeah.
gonna do it anyway.
Nothing is gonna stop them. That and
Yeah.
frankly, actually, I'm gonna save that comment for later.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, no, I love how they're like, I've checked every hotel, everything, and bupkis. It's like
Yeah.
trying to find a needle in a haystack, and we're running out of daylight.
Yeah.
Now this is funny. If you look at, and this was the one of the other oopsies on this, if you watch when he takes the SIM cards out, they're clearly not actually connected to anything.
No, they just pop right out.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, so Dean as you said, Sam has taken the SIM cards out of the phone so that Gordon can't track them. Dean picks up the Colt,
or at
and
least
his
they think Gordon can't track them.
they think Gordon can't track them. That's their well, yeah, that's their plan. They don't know at this point Gordon is well, no, they do. I'm sorry, I take that
Yeah,
back. They do. They do know he's a vampire. So Dean's plan, once again, is you stay here. I'll go out after Gordon. And Sam is like, no, no, this is like, what is it with you and this death wish? Like you're charging loaded weapons. Um, so Dean is like, gee, what rhymes with shut up, Sam? We have a dude. Um, and this is shaping up to what I would call a heartfelt bromance,
oh
where
hell yes, hell yeah,
Sam starts saying, like, "I see that you're scared because your year is running out, you're still going to hell, and you're freaked." And it's just this
yeah,
really kind of beautiful moment where Sam says, "I need you to be my big brother again. I need you." And it's like he's sort of tried everything else. He's yelled at Dean. He's tried to stop Dean. And the one thing he can do that he hasn't tried yet is ask Dean to be the big brother. Like he kind of appeals to what Dean understands his one job to be. Um And it we can't, not we can't call it crying because they don't
nope.
fall on his face, but you see, like,
Oh,
Sam's eyes well up, like, and it's the one thing he can say that's gonna convince Dean to change his mind, and he's like, "Alright, we'll cover our scent and we'll hole up here." Um,
uh,
so John had given them a recipe of things stinky things they could burn, so they do that. We've got Sam, burning whatever these I know skunkweed is one of them, I don't remember the rest of them. Dean is blocking the door, so they're barricaded.
He's shaving his arm with the machete. I think that's
He's
hilarious.
Yeah, he's testing to make sure that the blade is sharp. Um There's a beautiful piece of music here, I think. Dean's phone rings, and Sam's like, "You've had that phone 2 hours. Who'd you give the number to?" But it's Gordon, and as you said earlier, he has other options, and he followed their scent until they started covering it. Um, and Gordon has captured a young lady. And he says essentially, like, "You come to me or I kill her." And he tells them where he is, and they're like, "No, come on, Gordon, don't do this. You don't kill innocent people, you're a hunter." And Gordon says, "No, I'm a monster." So I love this, that he just in his mind, I'm gonna pause on this black screen here. He's a monster, and there's nothing in him that says, because of this black and white thinking, there's
Yeah.
nothing in him that says, "I should try to fight this,"
Nope.
because I'm a hunter. It's like, "Oh, well, I was a hunter, but now I'm a monster, and monsters kill people." And so he doesn't even try to do the right thing.
Well, then it's just however he can bait Sam and Dean, he will do whatever it takes and hurt whoever he has to
Yep.
get to that end game.
No, I agree. I do agree. Um,
Ugh,
okay, so so we do have a heartfelt bromance to look for and a
a
dude.
dude. I
Before
have
you
a
play
dude.
Okay, so
I
let's
have a
look here. I have a dude as well. Oh, and you know
thing.
what?
And
I
that
have a
was
heartfelt
such
bird.
I was gonna say that was such a good one that I want. Like that was like a even like an awesome heartfelt bromance. Like there's
Yeah,
good ones and there's awesome ones, and that was an awesome one.
I agree, and I am very fortunate that I have a heartfelt bromance on my card. So
Well,
I
if
got
I
both
hadn't
of
had the
those.
dude, I'd be drinking anyways. Because after those scenes, I need a drink.
Indeed.
Because
Hmm.
wow, those were powerful monologues and
Mm.
scenes.
Yeah, and this is Sarah Gamble. Like she writes some incredibly moving things. Um, the one comment I want to make um before we move on is I do think that conversation that Sam and Dean had about the we've got to kill Gordon, right? And Sam's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'm on board." Pardon me, you can see Dean is like, "Who are you and what have you done with my brother?" So we've been seeing a lot of this like stone-faced Sam the past few episodes. And I just want to kind of go back to if we remember back in Sin City, Ruby had made the comment to Sam about, there's a war coming and you're going to have to compromise your morals if you want to save your brother. So the question I think this episode leaves us with is how much of this kind of change in behavior we've seen from Sam is due to potentially him being resurrected wrong, and how much is due to Ruby's influence. And the one thing that makes me kind of lean towards Ruby, the clue that we get that maybe this isn't so much about Sam coming back wrong, is those puppy dog eyes we got from Sam at the beginning, that our Sam is still in there.
Mhm.
And whether it's Ruby or not, there's an there's enough clues that Sam hasn't gone full dark side, um, to kind of leave us again with this hanging question of what is going on with Sam?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is kind of as much as we all know how much I love vampires. Ugh.
Mm. Yeah, they're your favoritist.
Yeah, they're about my least favorite oh my god, of all the things. Vampires are about my least favorite. But this is kind of the episode, and I don't want to do this all before the end of the episode. I want to leave a bunch of this for the when we do the end analyses.
Mhm.
But this is kind of the episode at least I've been waiting for.
I agree. Now, I know that you've liked a couple of the episodes that we've had before this more than I have, but I know I've said this. I think season 3 gets off to a really plodding start, and this is we're 7 episodes deep into a season that will only have 16, which they
Yeah.
didn't know at the time, in fairness. And this is the first episode that really just knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, and I
Is
mean,
it perfect? No, but it's excellent.
yeah, and as I said, I mean, is this one that I will watch over and over again? No, purely because
It grows.
vampires. I I can watch a lot of things. Vampires. I that's my if
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd say weakness, but that's one thing I have a hard time stomaching.
sure.
So yeah, I that's the one part of this episode I'm really struggling with is the fact that
No,
of
I get
all
it.
of them, did it have to be vampires?
Yes. Why did it have to be vampires?
Yeah, why did it have to be vampires of all of them? It's like,
Yeah.
the one thing I hate. Um,
I can't do my Indiana Jones impression. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
yeah. So yeah, but no, it's just that and to me, and to me, the monologue, Sam's monologue, said a lot. And
I
I'll get
agree.
more into that as to where I think this whole thing has been going. I think Sam's monologue has a lot to say, has a lot to do
Yeah.
with the attitude we've been seeing.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. All right, hitting play here. So Sam and Dean show up at this location and they walk past this sign that says danger hazardous area. Um, Dean has the Colt. They find this young woman that Gordon had threatened to kill if they didn't come. So they're letting her go. Um, Dean has her. He starts to carry her out. He's like, Sam, stay close. And as they're walking out, Sam looks back for a second, and this rolling door just falls down between the brothers. We have a damn it. Um, and Sam is trapped on one side of the wall away from Dean, which is sort of
Oh,
Dean's worst nightmare.
yeah,
The lights go out, which gives Gordon the advantage because his eyesight in low light is superior to a human's. Um, and so you
oh,
see Sam with his machete. And I think it's Gordon sort of toys with him a
oh,
little
hell
bit.
yeah.
We have a Sammy. There's this extreme close up of just Gordon's mouth as he's
Uh,
talking, which is pretty cool. We get some Gordon vision of, the red light with,
yeah.
Sam moving through this warehouse. So Sam is at a very real disadvantage here. He's alone. He can't see. Um, and
Oh,
Gordon
look at
is
the look on
faster
his
and stronger.
face.
Yes.
Oh.
And that's the thing is he does look scared to me.
Oh,
Like he's
see, to me, he
concentrating.
looks to me, it's a terrified, like he's concentrating, but he's terrified.
He's he's scared, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't shut down in fear. Like
Oh,
he's
no, 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 it
yeah,
hasn't shut down, but it might, like, you can see the fear all in his for me, you can
yeah,
see it, like, it's definitely. Oh, and then you realize that she's turned.
yeah. Gordon turned her to go after Dean, and Dean just shoots her in the head with the Colt. Um, Dean is like really frantically trying to get through this door to get to his brother. Um, and so I think Sam just looks determined.
In
Like,
that shot, yes, in that shot, I
yeah,
agree with you. It was he in my opinion, he kinda goes back and forth. Like in some
mm,
scenes, like there he looks determined.
yeah,
He looks almost Luke Skywalker-ish, like just in his stances.
yeah. Which I mean, that was one of the inspirations for the show. So I think it's interesting that you caught that. Gordon rushes him, knocks like the two of them fall through this wall, throws him into another thing. Um, this is kind of fun where Dean finally makes it with the Colt and Gordon like comes around, grabs the gun and like binds him up so he can't shoot him. He starts to he bites Dean. Dean is now unconscious. And Sam uh, we get the sense that Sam, like, has like, he's at a disadvantage, and then Sam grabs this length of razor wire and you just wraps it around, Gordon's neck. We see the blood start to, like, out the side, and he eventually just, like, cuts Gordon's head off with this razor wire. Um And we get a
Oh,
close-up shot of Gordon's head just lying there. Apparently, there was a special effects shot where it was rocking a little bit more, and standards and practices went, "No, no, no, no." Dean is standing next to this sign. It reads 183 days since the last accident, and, it's not been confirmed, but it's almost the exact number of days between this episode airing and the end of, um, Dean's demon deal. So there's a fan theory that that 183 days is a nod to the number of days left that Dean has to live. Um, we've got a black screen here, but, we only have 2 minutes left, so I'm gonna let it play through. Um So, there's again a repeat of that comment that Sam had made to Dean, like, "You rushed a loaded weapon," and Dean says, "You rushed right at a vamped out Gordon." Um, so Dean
now it's
is
interesting that and sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
don't mean to cut. I
Go
apologize. I
ahead.
don't mean to cut you off. Um, I thought it was interesting. One of the things that I had read in that last scene was that there was some
You
people
know what? I lied.
felt
I'm gonna go ahead and pause it. I'm
that
sorry. Go ahead, Lynn.
was that some people felt that Sam was beheaded him too cold blooded and
Oh,
was
it's brutal.
it's brutal, but he's got I don't see the same stone cold that we've been seeing all season. Like he's phased in the end. Like I see. I what I see in his face is it's him or me, and if I don't keep shoving this wire, this isn't going to work and it's taking all of my strength to pull this off. Like I don't see a cold-blooded killer there. I see someone fighting for their life in that moment. Because as soon as he succeeds, he drops it and kind of shivers like holy crap.
Yeah,
Like there it's not emotionless like we've been seeing in
mm,
Sam in previous episodes where it's not where he has done the well I just killed someone and really don't give a shit. Like it
yeah.
clearly phases him.
Yeah, I think so it's the one thing that's kind of amusing I mean, this is a brutal death. This is
Oh, it is.
absolutely a brutal death, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about it shortly. But, it's there's a comment from, Eric Kripke in the official companion volume to season 3 where he's like, "Look, Sam doesn't have the strength to do this really. Like we know that this is physically impossible, but it's so cool. We just don't care." So I mean this is absolutely a brutal death and it's um something that is kind of uncharacteristically vicious for Sam. Where um forgive me, I'm a little turned around here. I'm trying to I don't think we've seen it yet, but there's an episode that we'll see later in the series where Sam is like actively trying to convince someone who is turning into a monster that they can fight it. Um and that's not what we see here. Like there's no attempt to try to convince Gordon that he doesn't have to be a monster. Um, so to your point, the razor wire is a weapon of opportunity, which is, Sam doesn't just walk around with razor wire, in
No,
his backpack. That
no.
he's and actually we had a weapon drop there as well. 'Cause he had a machete and he lost it. So it's a weapon of
Yeah.
opportunity. And so I think I see both sides of it, that you're not wrong in that, I think had he had another weapon at his disposal, he would not have used the razor wire.
No, no,
And it
I
would have
don't think he
been
would have.
right. So it would have, if he'd still had his machete, it would have been kind of a quick, clean kill, but that wasn't the weapon he had at his disposal. So it's not It's not like he's completely emotionless. I think it's just startling to see our sweet, sensitive Sam, which gets to something that I've commented on before, and I will again, that, to a certain extent, sweet, sensitive Sam is a facade. That he had such a difficult relationship with his father that he did everything he could to not be him. And so
Yeah.
he's carefully cultivated this kind of sensitive um demeanor, but don't ever make the mistake of thinking that Sam is not a badass.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100% I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
100%. And in fact, he and I think it was in the beginning if it wasn't this episode, it was last episode, I believe. It was one where he says to Dean, I'm not a little kid, like basically knock it off.
Yeah.
Like start treating me like a grown adult.
Yeah. Yeah, so I kind of see both sides of it, and I can't I can't disagree with you. Yeah. Um, all right, let's watch the last 2 minutes here. So Dean is working on the car. It's got a little rattle. He's trying to figure out what it is. Sam is sitting on the cooler, our beloved green cooler that the Winchesters have, having a beer, and Dean is like, no, no, you're gonna fix it. So he starts kind of talking Sam through how to fix the car and what part is what. It's a car from the 60s, so it's got a carburetor. And he just hands the wrench to Sam, like, here you go. And it's sort of a passing of the baton
Yeah,
kind of move,
and
and
I
he's
love the look. I love the look on Sam's face where it's
yeah, like,
like, wait a minute, I guess the carburetor, because you can see he's kind of proud of himself. He's like, oh, I was right. Holy crap!
knew what it was.
And it's like, wait a minute, you're gonna let me do this? I love the line where he says, "You barely let me drive this car. Now
Yep.
you're gonna let me repair it."
Yeah, and I think Dean's response is really beautiful that, that's my job, right? Show my little brother the ropes. Um,
Yeah.
and we've got this Bad Company song, Crazy Circles, as now Dean plops himself on the cooler and now he's enjoying a beer while Sam is working. And that is our episode.
And fortunately,
But
he did drink the beer.
he did well spotted. So we do have a Dean Eats or Drinks that we will look for momentarily. Um, but I think it's a combination of it ties back to what Sam had said earlier, like, I need you to be my big brother. And he's like, okay, this is my job as a big brother. And at the same time, Dean has 183 days left on his contract, and as of right now, they have no ability to get him out of that. So Dean will die, and he has a limited amount of time to teach his brother everything he thinks his brother needs to know before he's gone, including taking care of the beloved baby.
Oh,
So there's a lot of nuance to that scene there.
yeah. Oh,
Okay,
so
so
good.
we agreed. So we have, as you spotted correctly, Dean drinks. Sam drops a weapon, a Sammy, and a damn it.
And
Let's see here. I have a Sammy.
I had the Sammy also.
Nice.
Uh,
Um, Still mad Dixon rudely interrupted Dean before we got a son of a bitch. We have a weapon drop, so I have one of those.
I don't think I have one of those. No, I do not have one of those.
All right.
Uh,
I think that is what I have.
I
Just
think
double
that is
checking.
it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
cheers.
cheers. So yeah, the most I got in a row was 3.
Likewise.
So yeah, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So, we have a tie because
Woo!
we both have 3 in a row for a total of 7. So, uh, we both lost by the least.
So I say we toast that because we haven't had many ties.
We have not had very many ties. So we're gonna tie one on in celebration of our tie. Okay.
All right.
One thing you loved and one thing you hated.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna have to go with two things I loved.
Oh, Cheaty McCheater face. What are your
Well,
2?
because I can't not talk about, and I know we've already talked about it a little bit. I can't not talk about the basically, I mean, it was more of a monologue, but the heartfelt bro moment between the boys that I really, it says so much more. It's been built up, in my opinion, through the season and accomplished so much more than just a heartfelt bro moment.
Mm,
For To me, it explained, it was a desperation move on Sam's part to
mhm.
get through to Dean.
I agree.
It explained so much of Sam's behavior, of his moodiness, and
Mhm.
just to me it explains so much, and yet it also, you can see just the subtleties and the performances
Yeah.
between Jensen and Jared, and just the facial expression. Like, to me, like, that scene encompassed so much of just what we've needed for the boys in season 3, that we
Mhm.
haven't had so far, that we've been like
Yeah,
banging our head into a wall wanting to see. And it's like, finally, finally, it's like, for the love
yeah.
of God, stop acting like idiots. And it's like, you find you like, I mean, it shows why, like, he brings to a forefront all the behaviors that Dean is doing,
Mhm.
and how he's catching on to everything Dean is doing, and Dean suddenly like, oh, you really have been noticing all these little
Yeah,
nuances and watching the light bulb moment that Jensen acts perfectly through
yeah,
in literally one facial expression. He
yep,
does it perfectly. So it's like, yes, is it a scene that theoretically we've seen dozens of times between the brothers, but it's magnified, in my opinion, 2,000 times over, because it encompasses so much and brings so much more to the table than just I love you man scene. It just,
yeah,
there are so many onion layers that are peeled off in that minute and a half, two
yeah.
minutes, that have been coming since even really the end of season 2.
You're not wrong, and like I said, I think Chris Leonard's the composer for the episode, recognized that this was a key moment, and so
Yeah.
he wrote that really beautiful score
Mm.
for that
Yeah.
to emphasize it. So, yeah, I agree. What was your second one?
I think it would be amiss to not comment on, and I know I can never remember the actor's name, but the gentleman that plays Gordon.
Oh,
He
Sterling K.
did
Brown, yeah.
Sterling K. Brown. Clearly this is the last, I mean, this is the last time we see Gordon. I mean, he did just get
Yes,
decapitated.
just got
Uh,
decapitated. Although it is
he did,
supernatural.
it is supernatural. But he does such an amazing job
It
with
does.
that character. I mean, oh, do I hate that character with a heathing passion, but
But
he does such an amazing job
yeah,
with that character, and
I
just the
agree.
complexities of that character. So yeah, so as I said, as much as I cannot stand Gordon, brilliant job on bringing everything out of that role.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and this is one of those things about we're going to get to this in just a moment, but unfortunately, Andy was not able to join us this evening for Andy's fight notes, but he did send me some comments. And he and I talked a little bit, and he had said, one thing he really wished was that, Gordon was such a great character. He wished that he could have kind of continued his run on the show and showed up in the future to kind of make trouble for the boys just when it was the least convenient time possible. And I said, the problem with really talented actors like Sterling K. Brown is they get other jobs. And so he got a recurring role on, I believe it was called This Is Us, which I never watched because I can't watch a show that makes me cry every single episode. So he went to that show and was not available to film on Supernatural anymore. So they sort of killed him off on purpose. But yeah, and so I know we need to talk about what you hated still, but my favorite thing was also um, in particular, that scene where we see what it's like to be a vampire through, like from Gordon's perspective. Again, Sterling's performance is excellent, in every episode he's in, but there's something really special about that episode and the way that they do the sound, or sorry, that scene, and the way they do the sound design with that, like, that mechanical, like, thumping of the
Mhm.
watch and the heart beating and the bright lights and how physically painful it is to try to for him to try to assimilate all of that stimuli. So that was what I personally loved, out of everything that's great in this episode. That's the one thing I want to lift
Yeah.
up. So okay, that brings us to one thing you hated.
Is there something I keep for me that, and I know I've already talked about this. I struggle with vampires. Um, the one thing in my opinion, was ever so slightly off, at least in all the other vampire episodes, the couple other vampire episodes we've had, is I can't explain why, but I felt like the fangs were I felt like the fangs were slightly off,
I think they were
especially on
more
the last one. Especially on the last one, I felt like there was I don't know if it was a special effects thing or something, but there was something with the fangs that I felt like I, I don't
just
know,
wasn't
but it
quite
bothered
there.
me.
Okay, that's fair. I think they were playing a little bit more with CGI rather than practical. That could have had something to do with it, but that is fair. For me, the thing that I hated, and I sort of talked about this a little bit already, but the way that they just sort of don't address whether or not like, there's no concern about people being contaminated when there probably should be. We talked about the young lady in the alley with the little blood spot, on her face near her mouth. But, like, Sam, like, they even show us this close up of his hands bleeding as he decapitates, Gordon, Dean never once asks him, like, "You didn't get any blood in you, did you?" So, like, I just needed, like, 2 lines to express some concern about that, and I
Mhm.
thought that that was a little bit of a miss. Um, so as I said, I did talk to Andy, and he he made a comment I thought was on point that I had not necessarily. I mean, it's one of those things that, like, I noticed, but I didn't think a lot of it. They so first of they were calling what Sam does to Gordon decapachoked. So Gordon gets decapachoked by
I
Sam, and it's like he forgets that he has limbs because he just stands there for an
he's not
eternity.
wrong. It's like he could have tried to like something and
Punch, kick,
anything, and he just
yeah,
kind of stands there and lets the guy decapitate him.
decapachoke him.
Yeah,
So
I didn't even think of that.
I did not catch it either. I mean, like I said, I saw it, but it didn't like stand out to me. And then Andy's like, he just stands there and does nothing. Uh, I did I had to mention that in Andy's absence. I thought the decapachoked was really clever. And B, that yeah, Gordon just stands there like a dumbass and lets Sam decapachoke him.
Choke
Um
him.
so, overall, Andy gave the fight a B plus slash C minus. He said in general, he thought it was a pretty decent fight, but the decapichoke, like just standing there and let some dude kill you, he thought was a misstep. And then there's one point where Sam does like the double-handed like double axe strike
Mhm.
thing, and he's like, "That only works on television, and the WWE, like, that is an ineffective strike in any real fight at all, and something that Sam in real life, Sam Winchester would not do." Uh, but that is last call.
Oh. Mm.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks so much for coming along with us for the ride. If you like what we're doing here, be sure to tell your friends. Please also like our videos and subscribe so it's easier for other people to find us too.
And if you want to see more bonus episodes of watching Liz and I just pull anything out of Ask Jared, and not that we're real scripted to start with, but watch us even less scripted where we have not prepared anything. Throw some topics. To, wow, I can't talk.
Uh,
Throw some topics in on socials or through
yeah,
email and let us know what you want us to talk about.
absolutely. We love hearing from our SPN family. Comment on our videos, send us an email at hunterfuelpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hunter Fuel Podcast. In our next episode, we'll be discussing season 3, episode 8, A Very Supernatural Christmas, when the Winchesters sing Christmas carols. Until then, stay safe, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye. So yeah, so it paused it, but then I was no longer in the party.
Oh, no, we need you in the
I was
party.
like,
Oh, yes. You know us.
oh yeah.
Porn stars in the making.